At first, when I was given this assignment, I was dreading going to a board meeting as I had previously attended a SEAC meeting and it didn't meet the excitement I expected, if I had to say the very least. This meeting that took place on May 23rd with the Toronto District School Board was very different from the YRDSB SEAC meeting I had attended in the past. First and foremost, the room was much bigger, although the setup was very similar. There was a person, whose title was the chair, seated at the front, and on either side of her were two individuals. Along one side were all the trustees, and they had a name tag as well as a microphone. If a trustee wanted to speak, they had to add their name to the speaker list, and they would only be able to speak once, only if the motion that was not started by that particular individual. I had witnessed this at the meeting when a trustee had requested to speak a second time but was denied the opportunity. Further, there is a time limit on how long the trustee can speak for. Again, I had the opportunity to witness this as the same trustee who had requested to speak a second time was speaking for an extensive amount of time and was told he would only have 15 seconds to sum up his thought. Trustees are locally elected representatives who are legally accountable to the public for the collective decisions of the board and for the delivery and quality of educational services. Let's go back to the beginning of this meeting, which didn't start at all with the policies or governance, but rather with recognition, which was really nice to see. Anyone can attend board meetings as they exist to make their initiatives and projects undertaken transparent to the community. It is important for students and parents to know what is happening in the schools. The meeting started off with students from Earl Haig Secondary School singing O Canada in both English and French, which was then followed by the Wendat Land acknowledgement. The next part was the most inspiring of all because often when someone does something good, it is not as recognized as the negative event. Trustees from different regions had taken the time at the beginning to acknowledge specific students and staff for their dedication. For example, at East York Collegiate, there was a student who had been stabbed and needed to go to the hospital. One of the students had helped revive the boy, while another took off his shirt to apply pressure to the wound. It was their quick thinking that doctors say helped save the boy's life. Lives saved was applauded and lives lost was respected, particularly Renuka, who had worked at Earl Haig Secondary School and had died in the Yonge Street attack. There was a moment of complete silence for about a minute to honor her life. Then the meeting started looking at the details of education. The major items on the agenda were for the student trustees to share learning initiatives, followed by a learning conference and a multi-year strategic plan. The majority of the conversation this night revolved around the multi-year strategic plan, which is an education plan that would be worked on through the summer so it can be brought into full effect in the fall. They are basically goals that need to be fulfilled in education alongside actions. The major concern of the multi-year strategic plan was that it was not written in a manner that would be easily understood by parents. There was backlash on this point, as one of the trustees has said that that particular individual is implying that citizens cannot communicate at a certain level. I felt like this comment was unnecessary because if the document is written so that initiatives are transparent, should it not be written in language that can be understood by all? The second major issue was that the goals did not have clear, measurable indicators to help guide progression. Basically, when parents read the document, the trustees had said parents would wonder what it means because it's hard to judge whether or not that goal has been reached. The need for an amendment had come up which had to be supported with the vote. When the representatives had finished with their opinions, a vote was taken to pass the motion for an amendment. Only 3 were against the motion and so it was passed. All in all, I must say that I was surprised to see how strictly they abide by the rules, specifically the number of times a trustee can speak and for how long. It was definitely interesting to hear the heated comments at times.